This video is sponsored by Lexar.
Hey guys, Irene here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I have a very exciting video. Sony just released their 28-70 f2 lens. This is probably one of the most exciting releases the whole year for me personally. For the longest time, Canon was the only brand that had the 28-70 f2 lens, and this is just one of my absolute favorite lenses. I have been using it pretty much non-stop for the last 2 years. I just think it's so versatile, and it's like having multiple primes in one. So I wanted to put both of these to a test, compare them, and that's what we're pretty much going to do in this video. So let's go.
So Canon's 28-70 is known for being bulky and heavy. Personally, it's not a big deal for me. I'm used to big lenses, but Sony's 28-70 is smaller and lighter. Plus, Sony's lens hood has a window for quick lens filter adjustments, and Canon does not have this. So I have to give a point to Sony for the build of the lens. But what about the image quality? For the camera bodies, I used Canon R5 and the Sony A7 R5. These cameras are very comparable in my opinion, and I shot the images with the same exact settings, same f-stop, ISO and shutter speed. Both also have white balance set manually to 6000 kelvins, and I shot the images in RAW format. So here I have the first set of images, and they are both edited in a similar way. I tried to match the colors and the contrast as much as I could. So can you tell the difference? Can you tell which one is Sony and which is Canon? It's a little bit hard, right? But how about now when I show you the raw images? Let me know if it was obvious for you in the comments down below, and here's the reveal. Canon tends to lean more warm and often has this almost reddish tinge to it, while Sony is more cool and neutral and has a little bit of a green tinge to it. I also found that Canon seemed to look more contrasty, while the Sony RAW files looked a little bit more flat. I used Capture One to process these RAWs. I find that Capture One just has the best color profiles, and I applied just the Pro Standard color profiles that matched the camera model to both of the images.
Put it like really close to you, to your face, and like kind of really play around with it. Oh, that's cool. Whoa, that was cool. Okay, can we do it now on the Sony as well?
When it comes to sharpness, I honestly think that both lenses do very well, and I don't have any trouble getting sharp images from either of them. But when you start really like pixel peeping, the Sony files do look just a tad sharper. I think. I've been staring at these pictures for a while while making this video, so let me know what do you think and if you can see the difference in sharpness. Now, before we move on, I just wanted to talk about today's sponsor, Lexar, and their new workflow docking station. You might have already seen me unbox and set this up on my Instagram. This thing is super cool. It's a modular dock with 6 slots that can be fully customized with card readers and SSDs. So here I have the micro SD and SD card reader, then another one with 2 SD card readers. Then I have the CF Express Type B card reader. I use this one with my Hasselblad. And then finally the 2 terabyte SSD. This SSD is rugged and waterproof, so you know your files are going to be safe here. Lexar is really known for its reliability, and pretty much every photographer that I know just swears by the Lexar SSD, so I'm really excited to take this traveling with me very soon. The workflow station also uses Thunderbolt 4, so you know that the transfers are going to be really fast, and I love the fact that I can transfer from multiple cards at the same time. Normally when I come home from the photo shoot, I will have footage from my video camera, my photo camera, my phone, and sometimes I also have POV footage from my Ace Pro, which is on the micro SD card. And now I can pretty much transfer the footage from all of those cards at the same time, which makes my workflow a lot faster. Lexar is doing a giveaway, so if you'd like to win your own workflow docking station, check out the description for more info, and let's get back into the video.
Funny how like on this lens to zoom, like you zoom this way to 28, so it's like starts at the 28 and then you zoom to 70. This is like it's like on the opposite side. So here I would be zooming in this way, but here I'm zooming in that way. Oh, that's gorgeous. Same this guy. Beautiful.
Another interesting thing that I noticed is that it seems like Canon blurs out the corners of the image just a bit more. It almost has like a natural vignette to the images, while Sony is quite uniform even at the corners. Now, technically those blurry edges are considered a flaw, but I personally really like when the lenses have that quality. That's why I really like a lot of vintage lenses, and in my opinion, some flaws can give lenses like more character. But again, this is something that I wouldn't have noticed right away. I only saw this after I started to really examine the images.
See? Yeah, just say literally just what you're doing is perfect.
There is quite a difference between Canon and Sony in these strongly backlit RAWs. Again, you can see how Sony files just look a bit more flat. The model is more exposed and contrasty on the Canon, and darker, less contrasty on Sony. In the end, it didn't matter too much because I was able to recover the shadows in both shots, and just in general, I felt like these little differences in RAW files have quite little effect in the end after the editing.
I kind of want to get you like sitting here again, like with like all this grass and everything. If you do like this and kind of like that. Okay. Oh, I love this shot.
Now, these two look so much alike. I did a pretty good job matching them in post. I don't think I could tell the difference if I saw these pictures side by side like this. Like, which one is Canon, which one is Sony? Let me know if you can see the difference anyways. But again, generally, I just think these two setups are just super comparable, and it's really hard to tell a difference between them after the images are edited.
We found these really cool fluffs. I just love these things because they look so beautiful when the light hits them. It's a perfect spot, like literally so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna get you to stand in between them. So kind of like, see like this spot right here? Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Now, these two shots look quite different, and it's because I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment. So the other images that I showed you earlier, they were edited side by side, and I purposely tried to match the editing. Now for these two, I edited them independently from each other. I wanted to see if the raw image and how the image looks from the very start will influence how I end up editing the image. And in the end, there's definitely a difference. The Canon image ended up looking a lot warmer, while Sony cooler. And I think this is quite interesting. Let me know which image you prefer. I decided to ask ChatGPT, and it preferred the Canon image because it was warmer. And I think I like that edit a bit better as well. Again, I can make the Sony image look warmer and match it exactly to what the Canon edit looks like, but I do feel like the raw colors affect how we perceive the image, and that starting point can affect the direction of the edit. I will also just say that I'm very used to Canon files, and I use a lot of presets that I developed for Canon, so that could have affected the outcome just a little bit as well, but interesting experiment. So what about the video capabilities of these lenses? I will say right away that I'm not a videographer, so this section will be brief. I shot both cameras at 4K 60 FPS so that I could slow down the footage, and this is just regular video footage, it's not log, and there's no color grading, and again both cameras were set to the same settings, and also this footage is handheld. So I will show you some clips from Canon and Sony, and let me know in the comments which one you like better. I'm not sure why there's such a huge difference in exposure of these videos, as I shot them with the same settings. Let me know if you might have the answer for this. Maybe I messed up some kind of setting, who knows. Again, I'm not a videographer. But overall, I do think that they both did a pretty good job with the video, and the stabilization looks pretty nice for being handheld with pretty heavy lenses. But I will say that the Canon makes a pretty loud sound when it's focusing, which is pretty annoying.
Eyes at me.
While Sony is completely silent.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And Sony is a lot lighter, so it makes it easier to shoot handheld with the Sony lens. So to help me with some finishing thoughts, I gave ChatGPT 2 raw images from Canon and Sony and asked which one had better color science. And this is the answer that it gave me. Canon generally exhibits warmer, more vibrant colors that feel inviting and complement autumnal settings, while Sony images have slightly cooler, more neutral tone overall. The colors are leaning more subdued and towards natural look without as much warmth. The neutrality can work well for balanced look, but may require some post-processing to achieve the same warmth and depth as seen in Canon shots. And it said that overall Canon images seem to provide a more emotionally evocative color quality that aligns well with natural outdoor portrait setting, making them feel richer in warmth and mood compared to the Sony images. I mean, to be honest, I do agree with what ChatGPT said. Like, I think in the end, I do prefer the Canon raw colors just a little bit more than Sony. But then I asked it about sharpness. I said, what about sharpness? Which one do you think is sharper? And it replied, for sharpness, the Sony images appear slightly sharper compared to Canon images. In the Sony shots, there's more defined detail in the model's facial features and hair, which contributes to a crisp and well-defined look, particularly noticeable in areas with fine texture like hair strands. The Canon images, while also sharp, tend to have softer look overall, which may give them a slightly dreamier or more natural aesthetic. This subtle softness might be more forgiving for portraits, but it doesn't display the same level of fine detail as Sony. Again, 100% agree with what ChatGPT said. And then I just asked if ChatGPT thinks that the regular person could actually distinguish these little differences between Canon and Sony. And it said the regular person might not immediately notice these subtle differences in color science and sharpness unless they were pointed out, and most people viewing the images would likely focus on the overall mood composition and the subject rather than those technical nuances, which again, completely agree with ChatGPT. So in the end, I feel like these two lenses are super comparable, and while I prefer Canon RAWs just a little bit more over Sony, I love that Sony lens is much smaller, lighter, and sharper. And I think no matter the brand you use, you will be super happy with the 28-70 f2 lens. It has replaced almost all of my primes for me, and it's the only lens that I take traveling. So I'm super happy for all Sony users out there that will finally be able to get this beast of the lens. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you did think so, give this video a like. Let me know if there's any other lenses that you would like me to test out and see in my next video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!